Breakup with Blink really shook me to my core. It really is sad, the truth of it all. Blink is a former heroin addict.
Okay, I know I said it was going to be a different subject the next video. Blame 1980 millennial. When I'm driving and listening, uh, my feathers get ruffled. Okay, these emails just ruffle my feathers. They're ruffled. I have been listening to that and the Sister Wives book. Right now, it's more. We've just gotten. I've been listening for 3 hours. I think I'm on chapter 11 or 12, somewhere in there. And we just got to the wedding. So we're at the very beginning of the season. The first like 5 chapters, I want to say, 3 to 5. It's more about her explaining the religion. And I get that. But there have been a couple juicy things in there. Um, and I'm still watching a Netflix documentary, so I have to finish that with the unknown number catfish, the high school catfish documentary. Crazy. Talk about trauma from a mother, emotional trauma. Could you imagine that, daughter? Oh my. Anywho, I digress. Let's get into the actual emails.
Inbound to Gypsy. Dearest Gypsy, looking forward to meeting you and show you the encouragement you so deserve. I have not contacted Blink about my news yet. I wanted to get the okay from Bikers Against Child Abuse groups first. Since we have been working so diligently together to make this happen, we decided early on that all decisions would be made together. It was brought up, though, with one chapter. They, in no way do we want whoever blank is to be in the middle of this and have media all over this. BACA prides themselves on keeping anonymity about things. We meet for our monthly meeting next Wednesday in Nashville. We will decide whether it would help to have your father with us. Our goal is to see you get out and be free to live as much a normal life as possible. But if you do desire, I will push that we want your father to be involved with our Let Gypsy Come Home.
So Gypsy is asked to write, 5 letters. And this is for an organization called Bikers Against Child Abuse. Great organization, right? And they like to help, you know, anybody who is a child that was abused. That would include her. And to say that they ultimately refused to help her says a lot. I mean, a lot. Because they weren't falling for her crap even in prison. I want to say the craziest thing about the email too is how she came out and said Ken was a straight H addict, like just straight H addict.
Anyways, I am doing okay. I'm trying to focus on the class I am teaching and my own education. The breakup with Blink really shook me to my core. It really is sad, the truth of it all. Blink is a former heroin addict and has been clean for 5 years. Then in August, he relapsed because of the media attention and mass judgment was placed on him. So, with him being back in his addiction, he feels he is protecting me by pushing me always away before he becomes toxic to me. It breaks my heart because I feel responsible. I want to be there for him, but I guess I can't be.
This girl, no matter what it is or where she is in her life, she is constantly talking about an ex and can't get over it. More worried about the ex than the actual relationship she is in or maybe going to be in. Um, but she definitely likes to drag anybody. I mean, anybody that she can. The fact that she just came out and said he's a former H addict and he couldn't handle the media and all the stress from the media. He had a relapse after 5 years and he didn't want to drag me down, so he broke up with me. No, no, you didn't say that. You and him said that it was because, you know, you needed to live your life. You needed to live single. go out and date, outside of prison, that he needed to let you free to live life, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, y'all came back together anyways, and look now, Snipple City all the way in Austin and Miami. Mm, who knows? That's alleged. Do I believe it? I don't know. I know that there's a lot of alcohol involved. Hmm. And there is vaping allowed around a child, not even just a child, an infant. Who does that? Also, this lady is writing Gypsy, and you'll see that she keeps writing Gypsy, and Gypsy doesn't even respond to the lady until she finds out that she's working with the bikers against child abuse, and she's been petitioning senators and the government in several states. And the one in Tennessee, I think it is, finally gets back to her and wants to actually work with her with Gypsy. There's a few catches. She can't speak to media. Media can't be involved. She needs to focus on her, not men, and write letters. I think there was 4 or 5 letters she needed to write.
Number 1, a letter to your abuser. Number 2, a letter telling of the remorse you have for what happened and how you are doing your best to take your own accountability of what happened. No real details are needed and no mention of the other person involved. Number 3, things that you have done and are doing to help overcome this and better yourself. Number 4, what is your 5-year plan and goals once you are released? That's the end of her numbered list.
And she needed to get them back to her so that, she could hand these to the senator and bikers against child abuse to help, like get clemency, I think it is, just release then, not in 2023, just now. Listen to these letters. That one of those letters had to be a letter to your abuser.
Mother, I am writing this letter with having had nearly 5 years to feel the emotions felt when expressing the words written. Every day since your death, I have had nothing but time to reflect on the choices that have led me to where I am today. Moreover, of how your own actions formed the circumstances around mine. The woman writing this letter to you is far different from the girl who was once broken and desperate to live what I would later come to understand was just an average life for a young woman. Living 23 years of my life with you as my only guardian, the one person who had the responsibility of shaping who I would grow up to become. Unfortunately, my upbringing was a far cry from that which it should have been. Starting from my birth, going into my young adulthood, being isolated from having any other human interaction other than yours was lonely and has affected my ability to have appropriate social necessary to make healthy social interaction with others. The many unnecessary medical surgical procedures and medication that was forced upon me to treat illnesses that I did not have has left my body marked with scars, both physical and emotional. Your choice to not have me educated growing up has made it difficult to gain the appropriate level of education needed for a woman of my age and has caused a depleted self-esteem in my ability to make achievements in society. When mentioning the overall lack of life experience that was held from me by your choice as a mother, you did not only take away the normal life experiences that shaped an individual to be who they are or could be, but you made the choice to keep me from the best things in life that makes life worth living as a youth. The innocent joy of having a first day of school, the fun of going to the mall with friends and buying a dress that would surely never pass your approval, the excitement of being asked to prom, the comfort of your embrace, when getting my heart broke for the first time, the nerves of waiting the college acceptance letter. These are all things I was not able to experience. It would be many years before I was able to fully understand the reason for why I grew up being isolated from others, being taken to hospital after hospital, doctor after doctor without anything being medically wrong with me, waiting for the next time your hand was to strike me for simply trying to make a friend. Fear, manipulation, and isolation was all I knew of your kind of love, and a lingering question of why I was unable to be allowed the one thing that everyone else seemed the ability to have, the ability of free will. I am now 28 years old and in prison for my part in your murder. And though I can never justify my crime, nor can any letter of apology get back the life that was taken, I'm writing this as if you were physically in front of me to express all that I have held in for my whole life. Mom, after all that has happened, I have been searching for answers and spending my time trying to learn about myself as a person, trying to make sense of why all these events unfolded with this amount of tragedy. I want you to know that I now understand that you were mentally and emotionally unstable in raising me, and that and it cuts off there.
And one about how much you've grown. You'll hear it.
It's outbound from Gypsy. It says, to whom it may concern. My name is Gypsy Blanchard, number 1302048. I'm writing this letter to express how deeply remorseful I am for my actions. In the years since my conviction for second-degree murder for my part in the death of my mother and victim, Claudine Blanchard, in June 2015, I have learned the importance of taking accountability for my crime and do so without hesitation. I have come to realize just how deeply my crime has negatively impacted so many lives, creating a ripple effect that emotions far beyond my own realization. The pain and heartbreak felt by her family and friends will never be something I can ease. The unanswered questions I will never be able to give them peace of mind. The stolen memories with their loved one I will never be able to give back to them. This was a close death for me as she was my mother. She gave me life when with one choice I wrongfully took hers. I cannot ignore the fact that I made this choice to commit murder as a means to a way out of an abusive relationship with my mother. However, will never condone nor justify my actions, is how I now understand that no matter what the circumstances, murder/violence is never the answer. By taking her life, I took away the possibility of her receiving treatment for her mental health issues that was the source of her abusive behavior towards me, and possibly improving such behavior could have been the solution to her and I making amends and having a healthy relationship that never resulted in a tragic reality that was her losing her life to murder and robbing myself of the possibility of her and I potentially sharing the treasured memories that are so important for a daughter to have of her mother. This is but a small fraction of the regret I carry, wishing that I could have made a better choice that did not result in murder. I would do anything to undo the damage I have inflicted on so many, and moreover, I wish that that I could go give back the life that was taken by my own choice, but I cannot. My sympathy for my family continues to grow as the impact of this crime continues to unfold. For my actions, I am truly sorry. Sincerely, Gypsy Blanchard, Chillicothe Correctional Center.
It is also infuriating. Infuriating. The fact that, and we've all said this, it's not the fact that we think she was medically done this way, because I don't believe that. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. And I think most people with a common brain, with common sense, does too now. She had a medical condition when she was born, microcephaly. She has the microdeletion that they didn't figure out, wasn't even scientifically known until 2008. All those tests were for those reasons. Deedee was just trying to figure out what was wrong with her kid, right? And she took advantage of those medical conditions and scam money. She didn't make her sick, but you could tell Gypsy did this for lust. She did it for lust, bottom line. And most people feel that way. I feel that way. And it's my opinion, it's all my opinion. This is alleged for entertainment and educational purposes only. But it is crazy to hear her talk about it. And as she's talking about it, the medical ABUSE that she mentioned so much isn't even, it's like glimpsed over. Everything else is, other things like dating and prom and, high school, marriage, stuff like that. First day of schools. You can tell she's more angry about those things than she is the actual reason they gave her the sweetheart plea deal. I do think Gypsy's mother, Deedee, was a helicopter mom. I do think she was very overprotective. And I do think that she thought Gypsy was very sick because they weren't getting answers. Something was wrong with her. Um, and there was testing done, but, there weren't 100 surgeries. She had 4. My mom just had surgery yesterday. This is like her 14th scar on her body. Unnecessary surgeries, by the way. Very serious too. My mom doesn't brag about them. She doesn't embellish them. Okay, so she had 4 that we could see, and number 3 is more about better your life, what you're doing there, what classes you're taking, um, what you're doing to help, advocate for other prisoners. So, do you remember the hundreds of, it was copy paste responses she sent out to hundreds of people? And it was, to help get her released early before parole. And it was about her advocating and etc. That's the only reason she wanted to advocate. It had nothing to do with helping others. It was just to specifically try to get out in 2021. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. She never wanted to advocate or help anybody. Could you imagine? She just does whatever helps her. It doesn't matter what it is, a lie, rewriting history, changing her story 1,000 times. It doesn't matter as long as it helps Gypsy. And sadly, she is right that her daughter does have a disadvantage, a huge disadvantage to life, because you're giving her every disadvantage possible before she was even born. Aurora has a rough road ahead of her, I will say that. I do feel sorry for her. Nobody created that but you, Gypsy. So, needless to say, Gypsy was not amused that Bikers Against Child Abuse did not support her, did not support the petition. They didn't back her. They actually felt as if, she had done nothing. And she was more concerned about boyfriends, herself. She showed no remorse. They felt she learned absolutely nothing from her crime and that she was remorseless still. Yikes. I wonder how they feel now. And the lady got into it with the Bikers Against Child Abuse and actually ended their entire friendship or relationship. I would think that she feels, I mean, who knows? If she's like Rod, Christie, and the crew, she might still, no matter what, believe it and push that narrative because she is so embarrassed. But I would be extremely embarrassed to see these emails come out and how she has behaved since parole. Could you imagine if they did and she came out early and the way she acted upon parole this first year and a half that we've seen, how they would feel? Yeah, yeah. Well, Gypsy let him know how she felt about that.
My GED. One, I have not graduated my GED, but I have passed in every subject but math, so I feel that my efforts are not being recognized. Two, I personally did not apply my former. What is she saying there? The word she wrote is UPPLAY. I personally did not uplay my former engagement or place that above my self betterment. My relationship was being exploited by outside sources out of my control. My hopes and dreams for my future should not be counted against me and be a reason to deny me support. Three, that is completely untrue. I absolutely did accept Dr. Phil's help. Watch the interview and you'll see. I cried out of being thankful to accept his help. So I don't know what they are talking about, and they are misinformed. My facility is actually the one who will not allow me to have the materials his team wanted to send me while I'm in here. Four, my former demeanor and my court records are, yes, remorseless. However, 5.5 years later, I have taken more accountability in my actions now than ever before. People are so quick to pass judgment when they are the spectator. Five, my case in life has always been high profile. That was out of my control from the start. The fame was never what I wanted. I have told my story on many platforms because I have one worth being heard and I haven't received a dime to tell it. My main concern is being a public voice to those who can't speak for themselves, and I have been exploited by many because of the high attention on my life. I'm really curious here whether or not this is before or after the act set up a trust fund for her. If it's after, she's straight up lying there when she says, haven't received a dime.
This girl, like I said, her letters mean nothing. Her even her GED, that was just she couldn't get paroled unless she got the GED. She didn't just do it to better her life. She never planned on getting a job. Just like she told Ryan, she couldn't work when she got out. She couldn't stand long enough because she does have scoliosis. That's a real diagnosis, by the way. But she's perfectly fine and healthy, but she can't work. What a conundrum. Ain't that the, how does it say? How does it go? Well, ain't that calling the kettle black, something like that? That's what that is. Anyways, yeah, it's a repeated behavior and pattern with her. It's wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat, wash, rinse, repeat. And the fact that she's trying to rewrite the actual events, it is infuriating. It is ridiculous. If this doesn't show you how selfish this girl is and how, I mean, Bikers Against Child Abuse, they also had, access to a lot. Her letter she wrote to them didn't do anything. And she was on social media so much. They seen all that drama unfold in social media too. The stuff with Ken. She just doesn't care. And like she said, her decisions tend to disrupt other people's lives and affect others. But ultimately, she has to make herself happy. Don't we know? Don't we know? And no, there's nothing new going on with her. I haven't even looked. I don't follow her. I don't follow any of her channels because that's not, I really don't care. It's legitimately about how I feel like the accountability will never come. We will never get that. She doesn't owe us anything. We don't owe you anything, Gypsy. We don't owe you a gosh darn thing. We don't owe you grace. We don't owe you another chance, another chance, another chance, another chance. We don't owe you forgiveness, a thank you, or I don't know, a time to stand, my time to stand. Anyways, that's it for this video. Let me know what you guys think below. Um, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. My channel is almost at 1,000 and I'm excited. But let me know what you guys think. I will continue to post this too, but I am listening to, you know, Christine Brown's audiobook. I used a credit and got it for free. So it's 8.5 hours long, y'all. I have it on like not double, but 1.5. So I'm trying to get through it faster. I mean, that's a long book. So I'm trying to get through that. I would love to share that with you guys, see what you guys think about some of that. And Mackenzie Shrilla, I do. And the reason why I wanted to talk about the woman who got left in that lady's yard, the cop said it was an OD, but the guy on video, they didn't even look for him. He kicks her, he shoves her, wipes his hands of her BLOOD, pushes her out of the car, you know, he dumps her and leaves her there. I don't care if she was. That's somebody's daughter, sister. She could be a mom. She was young. And this man, if he didn't do anything wrong, why wouldn't you just call the cops, say, oh, she OD'd? Makes no sense to me. And I feel like it should be looked at further into. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. And any case you want me, just give me some suggestions on something else you guys want to talk about. So we have other topics to talk about, not just this, but I do love the emails. All right. I love you guys. Good night. I'll see you tomorrow.